Hello everyone, greetings from Munich, Germany. My name is Svetlana Mucha and I am the founder and the leading matchmaker at Diolli.com. And in this video I would like to share with you some strange requests that singles sometimes share with us. And by no means I want to critique our current or our potential clients. I just want to share with you why certain things that people claim are important actually have zero influence on the compatibility, and in the long-term perspective they are irrelevant. Sometimes I get requests from gentlemen that they want to date a lady who is not the only child in the family, and when I ask them why in their opinion it is important that a lady they start dating and potentially can build a relationship with, that can lead to marriage, is not a single child and, for example, has siblings, they give me numerous explanations. The most common is that, if she is the only child, then she is selfish, she is not caring, or she is not loving, and she was the baby of the family, and of course she was spoiled, and I don't want to date someone spoiled. I want to date someone who is capable to share, who is capable to compromise, and if she is the only child, then of course she is not capable of doing that. And I have even heard the excuse that he wants to have several kids, and if the lady was the only child, then for sure she will be willing to have just one kid, and this is not something he wants. And of course this request, it doesn't make much sense, because a lot depends on the parenting style, and I know people who have siblings, but for example the older or the younger sibling was the baby of the family and ended up being spoiled and ended up being arrogant, and I know people who for whatever reasons do not have siblings, are the only child, and they are caring, compassionate, and they know how to build a healthy relationship, so I admire their dating choices. Or for example, it is quite common that gentlemen request that they date only women who have never been married, and the fact that she has been married is such a huge disadvantage in the eyes of such a man. I can possibly understand it if we are talking about someone who is in the age group like middle 20s to late 20s. Well, because of age, you still didn't have the time to get into numerous relationships and into numerous situationships that potentially could have led you to fast marriage that you haven't thought through, and as a result a divorce. But if we are talking about people in their 30s, in their 40s and in their 50s, to look for someone who has never been married, that's a little bit naive, because when you are in your 40s, for sure you had relationships, and the fact that the lady, for example, has been married before doesn't mean that she is incapable of building a relationship, or she doesn't know how to build one. We don't know the whole story, when she got married, why she got married. Perhaps she got married in her early 20s, in the heat of a moment, and a year or 2 years after they both have realized that they were too young for marriage and they didn't have the necessary skills to grow that relationship, or they have realized that they are just too different. People might have been married for 10 or 15 years and they grew apart, or for example, when you get married in your early 20s till your middle 30s, you could have figured out what you actually want and need, and it can be very different from what you wanted in your early 20s and what your partner wanted back then, or for example still wants. So the fact that she has been married and she went through a divorce will tell you zero information about her personality or about her capacities, about her abilities to love, to share affection, to build a relationship. I don't want to tell right now that if a person has never been married, and for example she or he is in his 40s, and it is getting more and more common these days that people, for example, were studying longer than they were working, building their careers, building their businesses, working remotely. They didn't have a chance to meet the right partner, and they didn't have time, and for example they simply had other priorities, so they are never married even though they are in their early 40s. Well, but chances to meet such people, they are kind of slim, and also there is always a chance that a person in her 40s or in his 40s has never been married for a reason. He couldn't build a relationship, or she couldn't build a relationship. They have totally unrealistic understanding what is love, what is romance, what does it mean to be in a relationship. They glamorize marriage and love way too much. It could have happened. So to label people and to tell that, oh, she is divorced, or for example, he is 45 and he has never been married, that's not too smart. Not so long ago, a potential client has surprised me claiming he would prefer to date someone who went only through one divorce or has never been married, because if a person was married and divorced twice, then it means that this person is incapable of building a lasting, serious relationship, and he doesn't want to date such a lady. And of course, well, the fact that she has been divorced twice, you don't know the reasons. Perhaps, again, her first marriage happened when she was very young, and her second marriage lasted 13 or 12 years. So she is capable of building a lasting, serious relationship, but you can never know the reasons why they got a divorce. She wanted kids, he didn't want kids, or vice versa. He got his dream promotion and has decided to relocate to Australia, where her business and her career is, for example, in Ukraine or in Czech Republic or in the UK, and her family is there. All her siblings, all her friends, aging parents. So she has decided not to sacrifice all this and not to relocate to the other side of the globe. And you know what? People do grow and change their minds. For example, in her early 20s, she was adamant not to have kids. She thought that she is this modern woman who will be child-free and who would travel and who would build a career, a business, etc. But in her middle 30s, she has changed her mind. She has realized that she wants to have kids, that she wants to have a real family. And her partner, with whom she has met and built a relationship when she had other priorities, he didn't change her mind. So people split sometimes because their long-term goals do not align anymore. Of course, if you are 22 or 25 and you have never been married, you don't have children of your own, well, it makes sense that you want to meet someone with whom you will have a fresh start, who just like you will have their all first engagement, first marriage, etc. But if you are in your late 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, you have to be more realistic, and you have to understand that you were living your life and people were living their lives, and they had different experiences. And very often it's none of your business if she has been married before, if she has been engaged before, and why, for example, it didn't work out. Maybe later, when you know each other better, when you know all the context, she will share with you the reasons. I remember once a gentleman has said no to the date number 4 with the lady because she told him that she has been engaged once. And I think he has asked her something about relationships, past experiences, and she has shared with him that yes, her ex-boyfriend, he has actually proposed, and she said yes, but 2 months after that she broke off the engagement. And there was a reason, because, well, she said yes in the heat of a moment, they were in love, they knew each other for 6 months, and 2 months after that, after the emotions have slowed down and they have started looking at each other, getting each other more logically, she has realized that their values do not align that much and they want different things. And it was a smart thing to break up and to break off that engagement. There's some people saying that, okay, the other party will change their mind. Our magical love will make him or her change for me, and it never happens. Another strange request that I sometimes get is to date someone who has graduated from this exact university or from these exact universities, and they give the list. I could have probably understood this if a gentleman was a politician and a public figure, and for him, well, it is vitally important how the resume, how the CV of his wife will look in the public eye. So, well, perhaps it will make him look better if his fiancé or his wife went to Oxford or went to Harvard. But if we are not talking about someone who is a public figure, who is a politician, for example, well, it doesn't make a huge difference which university she went to if you are compatible on the deeper level. And here I'm talking about your long-term goals, your values, your understanding about family, about relationship, about gender roles in a relationship, your desire to have or not to have kids, how to raise those kids, your understanding about money, about the way how you can spend your free time if you have similar interests. These things are important. I'm sure you have met people who have graduated from very expensive, very popular universities, really well known, and these people haven't achieved much in life. And I'm sure you have met people who never got a chance to get a formal education, and they are very successful. And if we are talking about relationship, well, you're not going to hire that lady, so it shouldn't matter that much which university she went to. If she is kind, if she is loving, if she is intelligent, if just like you, she wants to have kids and she wants to have them within the next 3 to 5 years, then it doesn't make a huge difference where she studied. A few times gentlemen asked me about degrees and professions of parents of the lady, and this I find ridiculous. They were asking if they were like white collar or blue collar workers. If we are talking about Eastern Europe, if we are talking about Ukraine in particular, like the country where the parents of the lady most likely have studied doesn't exist anymore. The Soviet Union has collapsed, and the majority of universities, well, they either have collapsed as well or they have changed, and now they are Ukrainian universities, Polish universities. The faculties have changed and the world has changed. We have internet now. My friend's mom, she was a professional cartographer, so a person who manually creates maps, and she studied it in the 80s. And of course nowadays this profession, it doesn't make much sense. And in the 90s she studied accounting and she became an accountant, and later on she helped my friend with her daughter, and now she works as a babysitter just because she doesn't want to stay at home, and she likes kids. And my friend, she's a painter, her husband is a programmer, so the fact that, for example, her parents are doctors, or for example they didn't get a degree in Soviet Union, or the degree that they got, well, or they can't do a thing with it anymore, again, it has zero influence on your compatibility. Another strange request, and now we will talk a little bit about astrology. I know that some people pay particular attention to astrology. Some men and women start believing in astrology only when you tell them that their astrological sign is actually the best in bed. Then they start telling you that, oh, yes, it's true, that's totally so. But I have met so many people who were born on exactly the same day, for exactly the same year, and they are so different. Their life aspirations and goals are so different. Their interests are drastically different, and their life choices are very different. I have met a lady who is a medical doctor and speaks several languages. She teaches foreign students in English, and she is a Sagittarius. I have met a lady who is a nail artist, and she is also Sagittarius, and they share the same birthday, and they want totally different things in life. They have a totally different circle of friends. And of course, one more request, the tattoos. Well, I understand that some people find tattoos appealing, some people find them disgusting, but again, if you are in your 30s, 40s, in your 50s, you have to be more open-minded, because if the lady has decided to have a small butterfly when she was in her early 20s and now she's in her late 30s or early 40s, and for example that's the only tattoo she has, it is small, well, she laughs about it because she was young, she was reckless, and of course if she could return back in time, Probably she would have never done it, but to claim that she is a bad match just because she had that butterfly when she was 21, or she get a matching quote with her best friend when she was 18, well, this wouldn't be that smart. Of course, I'm not encouraging you to date someone who has a full sleeve of tattoos, because it also speaks about personality and about certain life choices. But if that's a small tattoo, and later on, I'm sure after a glass of wine she will share with you a story how she got it, well, I would recommend to be more understanding. I hope it was useful, and I hope that you won't fall for some of this not very smart criteria, that this criteria won't have a drastic influence on your dating choices, and you won't vet out great candidates because, for example, she went to the wrong university, or her parents went to the wrong university, or in your opinion she is not the best astrological sign because this sign is less romantic. Maybe you can share with me some criteria that you thought were important in the comments below, but later on you have realized that they have zero influence on your compatibility. I want to wish you lots of love. I remind you that it is important to press like, to subscribe to our channel, and of course, if you believe that this channel deserves your support, you can become a sponsor and you can support us by pressing a special button. I want to wish you lots of love. Svetlana Mucha, especially for Diolli.com from Munich, Germany.